To prepare for your interview, we recommend using the 3 R's: rehearse, review, and research. Rehearse all important information that you could be questioned on. Review all of your important documents like your resume, cover letter, and reference list. Also, make sure that you contact your references to let them know that they might be contacted by the interviewer. Research the company you're interviewing with. Check out their website, LinkedIn, and the news for any recent events or projects that the company is working on. You can also book a mock interview with us at the Career Center to practice interview questions and prepare for your interview experience. Live interviews take place in person, and so it is important to remember your professional etiquette. You will need to dress professionally. Wearing something that is business professional, like a blouse or button-down shirt with dress pants or skirt. Make sure you have a firm handshake, assuming both parties are comfortable and there are no restrictions. When you are seated for the interview, make sure that both of your feet are placed flat on the ground and try not to fidget or show your tics. Here's a tip. If you are unsure what your tics are, speak with a friend and they will likely be able to help you identify them. Try and maintain eye contact throughout the interview. If you have trouble doing this, you can try looking around the features of the face. Also, try to keep your breathing regular and take your time when answering questions. Virtual interviews are slightly more casual than live interviews in the sense that you can dress business casual, like nice sweaters or long sleeves. Make sure that you occupy 1/3 of the screen with the light coming from in front of you and a simple background behind you. Since you can't shake hands, you should wave instead. Try and maintain eye contact with the camera for around 50% of the time. Also, make sure that your camera is at an appropriate height and angle. To make the best impression possible, avoid reading off of notes. You should have any important material memorized. Constantly looking away from the camera will make you seem unprepared. If you have to use notes, try having a virtual call with a friend to practice reading discreetly. One-way virtual interviews require you to record your response to interview questions through a link that is provided by the employer. Here, there is no interviewer. You will either record each response at your own pace, around 1 to 3 minutes each, until you finish all of the questions, or you will be given 30 seconds to think of your response before it starts recording automatically. To prepare for this, you can use one of our resources, Flipgrid, to practice recording yourself answering interview practice questions. Two-way virtual interviews usually take place over Google Meets, Zoom, or another video call service. You video call with the interviewer and conduct the interview how you normally would as if it were in person. Make sure that you establish who will reconnect the call if any technical issues occur. There are a few different types of common interview questions. However, for the purpose of this video, we will be focusing on one. You can see a full list of our practice questions in the classroom. The question we will be focusing on today is, tell me about a time when you used communication to solve a problem. You can answer this question by using the STAR technique. STAR stands for situation, task, answer, result. And you can use the STAR technique to structure your responses during an interview. You will begin by describing the situation or task that you experienced. Make sure that you provide sufficient detail so that the employer can see the extent of your skills. Next, describe the specific action that you took to handle the situation or task. Lastly, conclude by describing the end result to the problem. If the outcome was negative, let the employer know how you would handle the situation differently if it were encountered again. Now we can use the STAR technique to answer our common interview question. Tell me about a time when you used communication to resolve a problem. Within my Biology 101 course, I was placed into a group of 6 people, and we were tasked with a project where we had to analyze several types of leaves and categorize them according to their various characteristics, and then input the data into an Excel document and also write a report. One of the group members, who was tasked with one of the initial portions of the project, being the initial analysis of the leaves, had not completed their portion, and we needed them to in order to move on with our own individual parts. This was frustrating for us as we needed them to complete their part in order for us to meet our predetermined deadline and get a good grade on the assignment. So, as a group, we decided decided to talk to this member and let them know the group's concerns. We actively listened to the explanation that they provided, and the member explained how they were overwhelmed with work and were unable to complete their portion of the project. I worked with the individual to determine what work they could complete and divided the remaining work amongst the other group members in order for us to meet our assigned deadline. We ended up completing the project on time and received a good grade. However, if I were to encounter the situation again, I would avoid putting one of my hardworking group members on the spot and speak with them one-on-one so they would not have to disclose their personal issues to the whole group. And that is how you answer an interview question using the SIR technique. Whether your interview was conducted online or live, make sure that you send a thank you follow-up message after your interview has concluded. If your interview was in person or live, make sure you send your follow-up within the preceding 48 hours. If your interview was virtual or online, make sure that you send your follow-up within the week. The message will be the same for both, and it will read something like this. Thank you for taking the time to interview me for the position of blank. I really enjoyed chatting with you about blank. I feel like I would be a great asset to the team because of blank. I look forward to hearing back from you. The message should then be concluded with a closing statement and your name. There are several main types of networking. However, it is important to note that any form of communication with another person is networking. You can network more formally through informational interviews. To set up an informational interview, you can reach out to an employer or a person of your choice and ask them for 10 minutes of their time. During this session, you can ask them industry-specific questions and gain first-hand advice. You can also network by attending various fairs and social events, such as job fairs, career carnivals, etc. This is a great opportunity not only to meet with business professionals, but also your peers. You can also reach out to people virtually through LinkedIn or other forms of social media.